now? Okay, there we go. Bear with us, everyone. This is our. You want to click out of that really quick?
Oh.
Bear with us, everyone. We're still working out the kinks here.
Welcome to the basement.
Yes, welcome to the very first episode of In the Basement. So we're mostly just gonna be shooting from the hip throughout this entire thing. We're still figuring it out, and we got glasses of whiskey here that we're gonna be sipping on throughout.
Yes, some skooma.
And
No, that's an Elder Scrolls thing.
is it?
I don't remember.
I don't either. But if everyone's wondering why I look so shiny, I took a shower but didn't take. You know, like when you've been doing something like really hot outside or something,
Yeah.
and you take a shower and you think it's gonna cool off your body, and you get out and you're still sweaty. That's like what happened to me earlier. As I got out of the shower, I was like, "Why am I so hot?"
Didn't even work.
Yeah, didn't even work.
Immediately started sweating.
But Zim, whoever's in the chat, Zim, could you let us know if audio is
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
pleasurable for y'all? But so Zachary here, we were chit chatting like a day or two ago, and I was like, because like this concept art leaked, and I think this is for the non-Colin Trevorrow one,
When did this leak?
like a day or two ago.
Okay.
So like, as you know, like I kind of like peruse Star Wars leaks and shit.
You do indeed.
Yeah. So, I was perusing this subreddit, and I saw this artwork for a movie that looked a lot more interesting than the movie we got, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. Can you close out of that other like useless tab that's up there?
These?
Yeah. God, our vision's so bad.
I know, right?
It's been like a minute since I've had whiskey, and I have barely eaten today, and I have lost like 30 pounds in the last month. So it's going to be interesting to see.
It's going to be an interesting stream.
How much this affects me.
Indeed.
Oh, it still tastes good though. Been a while since I've drank alcohol. But so we're going to switch over here to boom. I'm so hyped on it.
Is this the first image?
Nah, but we can just kind of thumb through it. But the way that I was thinking about it is like the Colin Trevorrow stuff is like what I wanted out of Kylo Ren. So I think of Kylo Ren from the actual episode 9 as like Gylo Man. You know?
How did that ever get like changed around?
So I think that Colin Trevorrow, like, he directed something that people just like hated or something.
Oh.
And I think he was directing like this. He's directing those Jurassic World movies.
Ah, I do not like those.
I mean, I haven't liked any outside of the first one, but yeah. I think he directed like his own independent movie and it just flopped. And I think that Disney was like, because they were panicking from like people not necessarily loving episode 9 or episode 8. So they fired him and brought J.J. Abrams back to make
Mistake.
What can be best described as a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie. That's
for
sure.
Out of all the movies, it was one of them. But we're not necessarily just gonna like. I feel like we always shit talk the sequel trilogy.
We do.
One day we'll have to make like a podcast where it's like something that we're positive on.
What do you think about these images, though?
So I think a lot of this shit like takes place on Coruscant.
Oh,
so like keep thumbing through it. She got a green lightsaber there, which I find fits her more.
And she's choking him? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I think that we were supposed to. Maybe it's like a kink play thing, but I think that we were supposed to get.
And then
more,
they
like,
kiss.
Yeah, then they had that weird kiss.
Yeah.
Hey, I know that you've been like chasing me throughout the galaxy, and I stabbed you.
And torturing me.
We should kiss right now. Yeah.
That was just all like kinky foreplay for them.
Yeah, keep scrolling through because
ooh, more kinky foreplay.
So the thing to keep in mind with like this concept art is that a lot of it is just
is that Rey?
Yeah, a lot of it's just like spitballing ideas. Like before like a movie's been made, they're just like making concept art to like come up with ideas or whatever.
Wonder what's going on here, or is that not what it's supposed to be?
It looks like it could either be a sewer or it's a floating ball.
One of the two.
But yeah, there's a couple pieces I really want you to look at. Like keep scrolling. Is that all that we're seeing there? Keep going.
Yeah, I think we hit back where we started. That's an interesting one.
So one of the original concepts for Colin Trevorrow's episode 9 script was
I know nothing about that.
Like it was going to heavily involve Coruscant, and like they were gonna go back to Coruscant. It was gonna be like kind of like abandoned and run down. Like since the Empire fell, like it kind of fell into like disarray or whatever.
Yeah.
But and fucking General Hux was gonna be like a Jedi fanboy, and he was gonna be like searching for like artifacts, wishing he was Force sensitive. And he had Mace Windu's lightsaber.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he kills himself with Mace Windu's lightsaber
In the original?
Yeah, like the original episode 9. Yeah. But so I don't know why it's not showing that concept art, but there's a couple like images of like what an abandoned Coruscant would look like, and I thought it looked like, I was like, that looks pretty sick, because like in the prequels, you see them and it's like bright sunny CGI filled world or whatever.
Yeah.
And so seeing it like kind of like in a post-apocalyptic state, because that's something like we don't get a lot of in Star Wars, like post-apocalyptic stuff.
Yeah. What do you think? Well, in the new canon, I mean, what would be going on Coruscant? That would be the seat of power for
That's the whole thing. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
and
we got like nothing.
Like, where is the Empire like stationed out of? Like, sorry, the First Order.
The First Order, so dumb.
Like, where is there like their home planet?
And the Resistance, like, where?
This immediately turned on to us just like shitting on.
Yeah, it did.
The sequel.
Well, we are, to be fair, we are discussing Episode 9 concept art, so
yeah, but so I don't think a lot of this is like necessarily referencing Colin Trevorrow stuff, because I think I showed you some of Colin Trevorrow's like concept art or whatever. He didn't draw it, but that they had commissioned for it or whatever.
Yeah,
and it looked really fun. It looked really interesting. It looked like it would have been a way better movie, because it was a continuation of Episode 8 and not
just, oh, let's scrap everything from.
Just forget about it. None of that happened. None of that stuff in Episode 8 happened. Let's just pretend like it doesn't
throw some
exist.
pickled Snokes in there to explain.
Yeah,
that.
why not? Just bring it all back around. But a lot of people are like looking at this stuff, because I know that you're not as like tuned into like the Star Wars internet like I am.
Like the leaks and all that, or the
not even necessarily like just
the
like
subreddits,
like the subreddits, like the Discords and like all that stuff.
I'm just a bad millennial in general in that
Yeah,
way.
I kind of like peruse a lot of that stuff like a weirdo. But I know that a lot of people have been looking at this, and it's always like a similar sentiment where they're always like, well, I still hate it because it's not the expanded universe.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like there's room in there.
They had so much content to go through.
I mean, not all of the expanded universe was good, but they had like free reign to pick and choose this time.
Yeah.
Like they could have. So Dark Empire was already like a controversial story in Star Wars, not only for like basement dwellers like you and me, but even for like authors in the expanded universe. Like there were some authors that worked on the books back then who just straight up pretended like it didn't happen. Like they would make characters in universe go, oh yeah, like Palpatine came back, but it wasn't really him. Like I don't believe it was really him.
Really?
Yeah, like they just like didn't want to like be bothered.
So they
with
were like undoing each other's work essentially.
I mean, the like early like 90s era of Star Wars expanded universe was always like a little weird. There was always like some contradictory stuff or whatever. It like really started to gather together, like I feel like during like the prequels. But so they took one of the storylines from the most controversial like expanded universe story and then made that canon instead of taking the other stuff that people really liked and making that canon.
Yeah.
So they just went with Palpatine's back. He's back again. And everyone before
somehow
was like all pissed off about that. Somehow Palpatine has returned.
In the opening crawl.
In Fortnite. But so I just found that to be everyone's talked about this to death. But obviously like they could have picked anything. They could have skipped 200 years ahead of time.
Yep.
Like they could have
for the prequels or sorry, the sequels.
Yeah, like they could have literally done anything.
See, I think they like to tie it all in with like the whole Skywalker legacy.
So what I was thinking is, I don't think they could have done legacy because Star Wars legacy is like so extreme.
Well, I don't mean legacy, but
well, yeah, but what I'm saying is like if they jumped forward in the future, it could have been something like Star Wars Legacy, because Star Wars Legacy takes place so far in the future. But Legacy's like definitely a byproduct of John Ostrander, who's like the most 90s comic book author. Just think like a lot of pockets, leather, like everyone looks like an X-Man. You know what I mean? But I think that they could have set a story in that time period. So Luke, Leia, Han, they're all dead already.
Yeah.
And
this is what they should have done for the sequels.
This is like what I think would have been like a good idea is they're showing the legacy of those characters without having to show what happened to all of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, my biggest complaint of the sequel trilogy was just that, like, it was the Jedi are all dead again. Luke is just Obi-Wan. It's just all this the same shit.
Yeah, and they just kind of went with something that worked the first time, so let's just do it again, but
something that worked 40 years ago
in a slightly different way, you know, because I mean, Episode 7 is just almost a carbon copy of like some of the content like from the originals,
and that's like something there's a Discord called the Deep Core. It's like they can be like sort of edgy in there or whatever. That one. Cool. But someone was in there like defending Episode 8, and people were like jumping on him. They were like, "Yeah, well, this movie sucks," and I was like, "Okay, let's think about it this way. At least Episode 8 was something. Like it's got its own identity. It's not just a carbon copy of of like a previous movie. Yeah. I mean, I don't like where the universe was, and so Episode 8 had to like bounce off of that or whatever. Yeah. So
I was actually pretty excited for 8. I remember.
Oh yeah, like I mean, everyone was like running on.
Like after 7, you have that whole thing where she goes and meets Luke at the very end of the movie, and that's where it ends. And you're like, yes, we're gonna get that Jedi Academy rolling.
Dude, everyone had like a severe case of the WAP for the Knights of Ren. Like that's like that channel Star Wars Theory. Like they got like so big. He got so big because it was like, what are the Knights of Ren gonna be, and like what's Luke been up to, and like all these theories and stuff. Yeah. And it was like funny like watching that channel over time, and seeing him like after Episode 8 came out, he's like, all right, well, like nothing I thought that was gonna happen happened. Yeah. And I don't care for it. I mean, like it was the same reaction a lot of people had, but oh yeah, like this is something that we've had conversations with other friends about, is saying that like J.J. Abrams didn't set up anything good. I feel like there was a room in there for something that still could have been different, but that could have been interesting. Mm-hmm. Did you read those Knights of Ren comics? The Rise of Kylo Ren? Not yet. So it's interesting because there are Jedi that are still alive at that point in time. And
really?
Yeah, and like Ben just basically dunks on him. Like none of them are as good as him. But it has one of the, what I find to be one of my personal favorite descriptions for like the use of the Force. It's that somebody isn't born inherently more powerful than somebody else. It's like it's a doorway and it's slightly more open for other people at the start, and other people have to open it more. So I feel like it was like kind of leaning into that like Episode 8 thing where it's like not everyone is somebody that's important, but everyone can be someone that's important. Yeah. Then Episode 9's like, no, you need to be a certain bloodline. Nope, you're Palpatine. Either a Palpatine or you're a Skywalker. Those are your only two options. Yeah. But I just thought it was like, it's cool that they released, the concept artists released some of this stuff, and they're clearly like gearing up to like do more stuff about the sequel trilogy. And
gearing up to,
yeah, like I think that they're like setting up like Kathleen Kennedy and all the actors from like the sequel trilogy. They've all been being asked about Star Wars stuff recently, which I think is like them gearing up to start diving into that stuff more. And I think that there's a chance that it can be fleshed out like in the same way that the prequels were fleshed out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Would you like to see another trilogy like on the big screens, or would you rather see like more anthology stuff like the Rogue Ones?
I mean, I'd want to see a 10, 11, and 12 at some point. Like, obviously, like anyone would. Yeah. I mean, Like my buddy, like Tad Larkin, he runs a channel called Mandalore, which I think is just like a funny like play on words, Mandalore.
Yeah.
But he literally has not watched any Disney stuff, like literally nothing. Like he has
just strictly Legends.
Just strictly Legends. So I have been like begging him to watch The Mandalorian, just to see like, because The Mandalorians are like his favorite.
Oh,
thing.
he hasn't even done that.
Hasn't been done like nothing Disney.
Yeah.
I think he watched. What the fuck was the name of that?
The intro song for The Mandalorian just played in my head. That little whistle.
What was the name of the anime that they made for Star Wars?
The anime. Oh, the Visions.
Yeah. I think that it always bodes really well for the sequel stuff, that I often don't remember what the names of some of these things are. But yeah, I think if you watch that just because it's not connected to anything else.
Yeah.
But
do you like... So we have mixed feelings about the sequels in that time period, obviously.
Yeah.
You like the High Republic, though, better, would you say?
Out of all of like the new stuff, I would say that it's definitely my favorite thing to come out of like new canon.
That's not saying much, though.
Yeah, the only good things have been like Vader, some of the mainline Star Wars stuff, like Star Wars comics.
So some of the comics.
Yeah, the books are just like not fucking worth it.
Yeah.
They're just like not worth it. Like the High Republic books I think are good, but
which books are you talking about?
Like all of like the first three books that came out.
Like Aftermath.
There's like no substance to those things.
Yeah.
They're paper thin.
Yeah.
Like it's like a nice Italian restaurant watering down their wine. It's like you can tell something's there, but it's like, who gives a shit, you know?
Yeah.
I think like the most interesting thing is like they kind of like delve into how the galaxy reacts to finding out that Leia is Darth Vader's kid. That's about as interesting as it gets, honestly. Other than that, but like those High Republic books, I like burned through those first two, and the third one I'm like 3/4 of the way through.
The Fallen Star.
Yeah, only because you got me hooked on the Cosmere. So I've like taken a break from like reading Star Wars
Brandon Sanders then.
To read the Cosmere. Dude, it's fucking good. It's really. I'm like halfway through it now.
You're talking Cosmere?
Yeah, I fucking love it.
This is now a Cosmere channel.
Yeah, it's now a Cosmere podcast. Dude, it's so good. Like it like bums me out when I can't read it.
So you have not finished Fallen Star?
No, not yet.
And neither have I. I like
that doesn't like bode well for.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to spoil. I mean, it's newish, so I don't guess we don't want to spoil it. But
yeah, I think that like good concepts came out of it. Like Elzar Mann's like one of my most. He's like one of my favorite Jedi.
He's interesting, at least.
He's interesting.
Like he's got a lot going on. I love it when Jedi sort of are like tempted by a little bit of dark side, or like
and banging some lady once.
Well, he did do that. Not that that's. It's funny how like that's presented as.
I don't think it's presented as bad. I think it's presented as like Elzar Mann's being. It's like he's like the dude who like bangs a girl once, and he's like, "Oh, look, we're in love, and we should get married now." And she's like, "You should stop talking to me," and he's like, butthurt about it, like that kind of thing. I think it's less presented like she's not the bad guy there.
That was in the second one, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah, he has sex with that lady, and then
now we're doing Elzar Mann spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, but that book's been out for like months, so if you haven't read it, and a lot of Expanded Universe fans just refuse to read any High Republic stuff.
I don't know. I do like it, sort of. I actually really like Marchion Ro. Like his character.
He's like the most interesting character to come out of Star Wars in a while. His character.
It's interesting though to not have like a Sith component. You know what I mean?
That's what's really been missing from a lot of this stuff. And I know that
because they're basically just like space pirates, you know, going off, and I just think it's hilarious. Maybe that's kind of what turned me off with Fallen Star was like this entire time you got. I mean, how many Jedi are going and alive and like running around the galaxy?
Yeah,
and then you got these random like pirates out there.
Who are just like kicking their asses.
Oh, they're just wiping the floor with these Jedi.
Yeah, and that's like,
and just by doing like little like I mean,
they're like
simple stuff,
throwing out gas and like blinding all of them and stuff like that.
simple stuff like, oh, they put a ship in the path of this other ship to cause this great hyperspace disaster. Like, how much did they lose on that versus how much the Jedi lost on that? And it's like, how is this little band of like rogues getting the best of like?
I mean, I think they're supposed to be like big-ish. I think they're supposed to be like there's like a bunch of them. I mean, they're not like. It is a little bit. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit that. I mean, they are literally pirates. Like they think of themselves as pirates.
Yeah.
They conduct themselves like.
Well, and they're like split amongst themselves, and there's like
constantly fighting.
There's like infighting. Like they have a whole hierarchy of
like the runners,
the storm runners, or I forget it. The storms and anyway.
The Hufflepuffs, the
yeah.
Gryffindors.
Yeah, so
the Mudbloods.
But they're all like infighting between the different like hierarchies of like Nihil. And it's like you would think that, I mean, they're not, it doesn't seem like they're a huge threat, and also like they're super disorganized, and it's made to seem like that the paths that Marchand Rowe gets, like that is the key to their success. You know what I mean?
And they're constantly trying to kill him. Like they're always like they hate him. Like they hate his guts.
Yeah.
But I really like that character a lot. Like I like the gross brutality of him. Like I think a lot of, because like the expanded universe before was pretty extreme. There's like a lot of dark stuff that happens in it. Like the Star Wars Republic comics are very dark. Quinlan Vos, the edgiest Jedi in the world, but I love him. Like he's like my favorite.
But still like a Jedi.
I mean, he really bends like the definition of that word. But people complain that like the new canon stuff like isn't edgy enough. Just so you know, I'm getting a little drunk off this whiskey. Good. But Marchand Rowe's like pretty brutal. Like in the beginning of what the hell's the name of that second book?
Rising Storm.
Storm. Yeah. He like kicks that dude's brains in like in the first chapter.
Like the bird species.
The bird person.
What I don't know his Star Wars species.
I don't remember either. I just keep thinking of Bird Person from Rick and Morty. I don't know if you've ever watched it before. But yeah, he like kicks that dude's brains in.
Yeah,
he's like,
pretty much.
Oh yeah, like I need to run this experiment.
Because he's like I do like the Great Levelers sort of. I kind of feel like they're ripping off. What are the ones in Thrawn?
Yeah,
Islamari. Yeah. Except the Islamari are just like sloth.
And they're like completely unaware of their effect. They're just like hanging
they're
out.
They're just like doing their thing. Whereas it seems like the Great Leveler is like actively like a malicious creature, you know?
Yeah. I love the thought of like this Islamari just like out in the forest. And they're just like chewing cud. And they're just like... and Luke, he's like, oh, I can't use my force. They're just like,
he's just freaking out.
They're just slowly reaching for branches and like getting leaves and shit. And it's Thrawn's hanging out with them and stuff. Like, I just love the thought of that.
Do you like the whole like, oh, there's this creature that negates the four? Have you always liked that concept?
I mean, I don't love that concept, but like it makes sense for like that storyline, and Thrawn really needs them because
of the
Jorah Sabaoth is just like the most insane fucking person to ever live. Every other word out of that guy's mouth is Granddad Merle Thrawn. He's just like such a shithead. I love him, but like he's like Thrawn's like, oh, what do you think is a good battle strategy for this? And he's like, where are my Jedi, Granddad? And like, that's not, read the room, man. Like, that's not the conversation.
I know, right?
It's like, Jesus, man. Come on. It's just, like, I'm rereading the Thrawn trilogy, and I'm at the point where, like, Luke, he, like, goes and meets him, like, on some backwater planet, and everyone there's, like, afraid of him. And Luke is, like, such, like, a dopey idiot that whole book. He's like...
the first one?
The second one.
Oh.
He's, like, thinking out loud. This guy doesn't act like Obi-Wan did. Like, he's not telling me to, like, use the Force for good. He's, like, torturing these people. Maybe this isn't a good idea. But I'm not going to leave. like, he's clearly evil.
Yeah.
He's got, like, chest hair showing. He's, like, loosely wearing his robe. His dong's, like,
it's like
partially showing.
It's like you can't judge this guy by, like, what he's actually doing.
I feel like I would meet that guy and immediately think, I got to get the fuck away from
Doesn't
this
he
guy.
do, like, Force lightning and all that stuff, too?
He doesn't do that for, like...
For
a
Luke.
minute. Like he does it in front of Luke or whatever. But like when he first runs into him on that planet, he's like he walks into like this room where these two dudes are arguing about like pay for something, and they're like physically afraid of him. And Luke is like, I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm not gonna follow up on that thought.
Yeah.
he hangs
roll
out
with this.
He thinks about like sending a message to Coruscant, and he goes, maybe not. It's so funny. I fucking love that book. But there's one other thing that I really wanted to show you. So this is just gonna be more of us like talking shit on Disney. Go to YouTube really quick.
Okay.
And look up the Galactic Star Cruiser, and then we'll like pan in.
The Galactic Star Cruiser?
Yeah, so this is like another thing that like you wouldn't be familiar with because you're not like on Star Wars YouTube or whatever.
Just Galactic Star Cruiser?
Like Disney Galactic Star Cruiser.
Okay.
Dude, that whiskey is like really hitting me.
Good.
I'm telling you, man. Since I lost some weight and stopped drinking so much.
Oh my
drinking,
God.
It's like I was an alcoholic, but
I don't know if I spelled that right.
type in like original ad. Or like deleted ad. I'm so excited for you to watch this. As long as we can find it. It's it's insanity that somebody filmed this and thought they should release it.
Galactic
Oh my, maybe they should be so bad. I cannot see dick.
Me too.
Is
the first one?
Yeah, click. Okay, yeah, click on that really quick.
Okay.
And then hit pause right away. Okay, make it widescreen really fast.
Okay.
I'm so excited to get your opinion on this.
Cool.
Hit play and see how.
You get to spend 2 days and 2 nights living out your very own Star Wars story.
Oh, I'm just too excited. We gotta go and punch it.
So we've really focused on making sure we have some of the best entertainment in the galaxy on board. One of which I'm so excited about is this pop star who's known throughout the galaxy for all...
This fucking dork.
What's going on? I just popped through that door and I have no idea.
Look above and see the world slowly emerge before your eyes. Feel the swell as the moon begins to rise above the tide. All around, change is coming, something new is in the air.
I love this ad so much.
Welcome to the new world.
What? He's like the dorkiest
Oh
kid
my
ever.
God. So there's like a little bit more to that that's like not in that ad. But what I love the most about that ad is it looks so shitty.
Mm-hmm.
They spent like $4 billion on Star Wars, and that's the best ad they can make for the thing.
Yeah, that looked like one of those like promo videos that they show in like public schools.
Yeah, it's like we could have filmed that in the studio.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and my favorite thing about that ad is that it looks like a ripoff of Star Wars. Like it looks like somebody was like, you know what I want to do? I want to make a parody of Star Wars that's legally distinct enough from Star Wars that I won't get sued for it.
Yeah.
So let's do like I'm picturing like a carnival barker, and he's like a guy standing in front of like a shitty green screen. He's like, "You heard of Star Wars? Come on down to space conflict." we got things like Jagas and Broba the Jut. It's like the shittiest like off-brand version.
That was gonna be like
It exists.
Really?
That's a thing you can go to.
Like in where's
It's
that
like
at?
it's like $1,500 a night.
Galaxy's Edge or what's that?
Galaxy's Edge is like the place like with the Millennium Falcons or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So this is like an all-inclusive like vacation thing where you can like go and immerse yourself in space conflict.
Yeah.
You can go and be in the beautiful worlds of Japaween.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can come and look at this terminal console with nondescript space stuff.
Yeah.
I love
Just
that
a bunch of funny lights.
It's like they went on like a stock footage website and typed in space battle, and that's all the shit they got for it. I love that.
Wow.
I love, like, just picture like a car salesman like walking on. He's like, "You heard of Star Wars, right? You like Star Wars? Come on down." It's
That's
just, like,
exactly.
so shitty. And
That's exactly what it was.
so people were dogging on that real hard, and I was thinking, like, how bad can it be?
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and they got like the stereotypical dude that would be jammed into a locker, like in a '90s movie. You know what I mean?
That dorky actor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you were saying that there's like a difference between nerdy and dorky.
Oh yeah.
That dude's dorky.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a guy who gets a wedgie, like in a ski movie from the '80s. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's like the guy that'd be up on the mountain and be like, "We want to
Move your
save,
mic down a little bit.
we want to save the recreation hall, and these big wigs from New York are trying to take it down." He's like, "Come on, guys, can we all just get along?" And this Norwegian dude gives him a wedgie. That's like what that dude looks like.
That's funny. I had never seen that before.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on it because it looks like Star Trek.
Do you want to go to that Orlando site where they have?
So we are going to that soon.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, and it's like $200 to like build a lightsaber, but a part of me feels like that's too dorky for me to do.
No, come on. That's like your whole shtick.
I know, but it's like
We used to fight with those. What are they? FX lightsabers.
all of them got broken.
Because we used to fight with them.
You and my brother used to fight with them, and I would stand in the back deck watching us break $300 lightsabers.
Apparently, you're not supposed to actually lightsaber duel with those.
There are people who make versions of those that
That are more durable.
They're like sparring ones,
Yeah.
which I find.
What are the ones that you can build at Disney like then?
I think they're like those Force FX ones.
Okay.
Which I think that Force FX one was like the branded version by Lucasfilm before
Yeah.
they got bought out or whatever. And I think that they just either kept contracting with that company or they just built their own.
Yeah.
Some of the shit like that. But I'm hoping that when I go to Galaxy's Edge, that it's that shitty. Like a part of me like wants it to like look that bad. But I figured we should talk about some Legend stuff since we've been uploading so much.
Yes.
Over like the last like fucking 2 weeks. Something like that. So for those of you who don't know, like I operate a video production business, like as my 9 to 5.
What do you mean? We're stuck in the basement.
We're stuck. I mean,
How do you do that while you're stuck in the basement?
Barb, she puts envelopes with SD cards under the door, and I just enter all of them.
There you go.
Yeah. She's like, "Get back to work."
I have no idea what's going on in the real world.
Yeah.
There was like some disease going around or
So,
something.
and I think there's like a world war happening.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because all we get to eat is just a gallon of milk every day.
Every day.
Barb
Gallon
waits
of
till it
milk.
gets just spoiled enough where it's chunky. She puts in that dumbwaiter and she brings it down. And some frozen like Hungry Man meals. You know what I mean?
Live for them. Live for them.
It's all that and then a bunch of Live, Laugh, Love decals down here that Barb never put up.
Mm-hmm.
But so we've been uploading like a shit ton, and so like I've been reading like a lot of like Legend stuff recently.
Yeah. What have you been reading?
I've been reading I reread through like a ton of the Republic, and there's a section of that released before episode 1.
Okay.
So that like really heavily features yours and mine's like favorite ladies man Jedi, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Oh yeah.
He's going around laying pipe all over the galaxy.
You know it.
But he features like really heavily in those issues, and it's bizarre because like I think that the writers must have just gotten like a note that was like, this guy's gonna be in the prequels, so write comics about him, but they had no idea like what his context was for the movies, because he's fucking badass. He's so heavily featured. He's going to he meets Darth Krayt.
He's on the council, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the droid attacking the Wookiees? He's that guy.
Yeah.
That's literally all he's known
Right.
for.
Right.
For that and for like being the most surprised
And,
Jedi.
and for like juggling his lightsaber as he dies. Do you remember that?
He was eating a bucket of KFC beforehand.
his fingers were all greasy.
He's like, oh no. You can tell that this whiskey has got me a little drunk. But
I like it.
Yeah, he's
Whiskey Wars.
Whiskey Wars.
We should call this Whiskey Wars.
Yeah, for sure. The episode 2 will be called Episode 2 Attack of the Whiskey. Attack of the Cirrhosis Liver.
The Whiskey Strikes Back.
Yeah. But So I think that they just had no context as to like how he was going to be written in it. So they featured him super heavily. Like he goes to Tatooine, he meets Asherod Het, who eventually becomes Darth Krayt.
Yeah.
Which John Ostrander loves that character. He's the guy
who did all the
he wrote the Republic. He wrote Dawn of the Jedi, which is like you can't. I think it's like it's slightly off camera.
Yeah.
Like, I have every issue of Dawn of the
behind
Jedi,
me.
every issue of Legacy. So I'm like a big fan of this guy. Like if I could, like just talk to him for like 10 minutes, I would just pick his brain.
Yeah.
Because he's also like one of the last authors who worked, the last writers and comic book authors or whatever, who like was working on stuff as Lucasfilm was being bought. So Dawn of the Jedi was like being written as like the Disney purchase was going through. So you can like see like where Dawn of the Jedi was going to be like a really long running series.
Mm-hmm.
This is like
Did you read the novel?
Into the Void?
Into the Void?
It's boring.
Is it?
It's real boring. The comic book is like way better.
Okay.
Like the book is just it just exists.
Yeah.
There's like a few Star Wars books that are like that.
Well, like you were saying, like that whole time frame for Star Wars books was just a total dud, I feel like. Like
the late era stuff.
Well, like right around the Disney purchase time, like with like the Aftermath books and like.
Well, those are like new canon stuff.
Well,
like Into the Void was like, I think it may have even been the last Star Wars books that was released in the EU.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember, but Dawn of the Jedi, you could see that there's like this war in Legends called the Force Wars, where the Jedi they splinter, the Jedi they splinter, and they start infighting, and that's like the birth of the Jedi Order, where they stop like even studying the dark side at all. It's like when they get like really dark side phobic. And I think those comics were building to that, to like seeing the Force Wars like happen. And it very rapidly gets like finalized in like 5 issues. Like it's clear that like a whole arc is completely passed over, and then a whole arc supposed to happen afterwards that just doesn't. They like that's when like the Rakata start fighting the Jedi and stuff like that. So it like wraps up in like 20 minutes.
We did some issues on that.
We did some issues. Like I feel like people like that shit. People like like I like that ancient history of Star Wars.
Like one thing that I didn't realize was the whole like Star Wars God thing.
Oh yeah, like
that we were touching on.
I still don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I kind of like I feel like it gets rid of the mysticism of the Force.
Yeah, Star Wars doesn't seem like the right like fantasy universe for like
gods to exist.
Yeah, for like a whole god situation. I know that's like a very prominent feature in a lot of. Well, it is mostly fantasy, not really.
It's always fantasy.
Not really sci-fi. Though.
Because science fiction's always like math and science based. And like it's quite kind of normal in fantasy.
But Star Wars is like a crossover, you know. It's not like sci-fi because it's like
I don't expect like Star Trek.
It's so mystical, and you basically just have space wizards and stuff like that.
Spizzards.
Right, Spizzards.
Yeah, but like I don't know how
that's what they should have been called instead of Jedi.
Instead of Jedi, Spizzards. I think that the
Spizzard High Council,
like called the Order of the Dai Bendu or something like that.
Like wait, you're talking
like in the original script of.
Okay.
My brain's dehydrated now, so it's hard for me to recall those stories or whatever. But I really like the Dawn of the Jedi stuff, and so like I was rereading through like the Republic. I read through all of that again because this is the thing. Anyone who's watching this later on or viewing it now, I would rather have read the thing that I'm making a video about and actually like kind of like feel comfortable writing something about it instead of like reading a Wikipedia article about it. Because I feel like Wikipedia is...
We read our content.
We fucking read our content.
We experience the content.
We're not some kind of posers wearing audios at the mall.
We don't spark notes our Star Wars.
It's some early 2000s skate culture for you there. But like I always feel more comfortable like reading the stories that we're talking about as opposed to just like going off Wikipedia. The only thing
you get like the like
context.
The scent. Yeah, you get the context.
I caught the scent.
Yeah,
I got the whiff.
The sense. I was gonna say sense.
I thought you said scent.
The scent. You get a whiff. You get a whiff of what they were going.
Got a whiff of the sweaty Jedi on Tython. And so yeah, like the Dawn of the Jedi stuff. That's like what pissed me off so bad about The Mandalorian was like
The Tython.
You're taking like a interesting, awesome, like lore-rich planet of Tython, and it just looks like they went behind the Hollywood sign in Hollywood and filmed.
Yeah.
Like the desert behind it. It's like, you guys don't have
like
budget?
like you saw nothing of what would be there though, like in that
like
era.
Jungles, like giant. I mean, at least a Jedi temple.
Yeah.
It's just like a platform.
Yeah.
With a giant blue
it's
beam
just like
coming
it's
out
just
of
like a raised dais or something, isn't it?
Honestly, a lot of that season 2 of The Mandalorian I did not care for.
Yeah.
Like I went back and rewatched like part of it recently. I found it hard to like even get through it. I only watched like the big episode. Like the first 2 are like kind of like non-entities.
Yeah.
There's just not anything happening in them.
Yeah. I mean,
it's only Luke that I care about.
I know. Yeah. That was like the big scene that I would rewatch over and over again, even though
of course.
Even though he looks
bizarre.
He looks very bizarre.
He looks a lot better.
What's that technology called?
Deepfake.
Deepfake.
Which that was like a
Is that what the technology
question.
called?
Yeah, deepfakes.
Okay.
It was like a big ethical question. It's like, should we be like superimposing like dead actors' faces onto people? Like, you know how they, like we were talking about this earlier, how Grand Moff Tarkin looked like a PlayStation 2 cinematic.
The weirdest one. He was a little weird, but the weirdest one was Leia at the end of that.
Yeah, her teeth were too.
Rogue One, right?
It was all Rogue One.
Yeah. Her eyes were just. They were like.
They seem bizarre.
They're like bugging out.
I don't feel like they tried at all with Tarkin.
Yeah, but then in Book of Boba Fett with Luke,
it looks pretty good.
Like night and day.
Night and day.
Like
I mean, that's literally all I cared about from that entire season.
Yeah,
I could not have cared less.
Episode 5 and 6, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, 5 was the Mandalorian comes back, and then 6 is he goes and visits, and that's the Luke episode, right?
Yeah. Like there's a subreddit that I'm a part of. I won't name it right now, but it's like very like sequel trilogy oriented, and they like kind of dog on EU fans or whatever. And they're like all defending Book of Boba Fett. They're like, "Oh, you're just mad that he wasn't like how you pictured he would be." I'm like, he's just boring.
Yeah.
He's just boring.
Well, he's just supposed to be a cool badass in the corner. Just being silent and a badass. Like that's the reason why people like Boba Fett.
He could have had literally any other personality, and he would have been better. Like it's the story is just not good. It's like I mean I shouldn't even say that. It's like it's not even that it's not good. It's just that it's nothing.
It should have been more like brutal.
Yeah. Like, everyone in that subreddit is like, you mean to tell me you didn't like that hug fight that Black Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett had? Like, it's all just bear hugs. It's just fucking bear. They're just wrestling. Bear hugs. They're just hugging aggressively. This is like a gladiator. Gladiator. He fought in slave gladiator pits, and he's hugging Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And like people are like, oh, you just wanted him to be like what you thought he was. And I'm like, he could have been anything. It's a clean slate.
Yeah.
I think this podcast should just be renamed Boba Fett Sucks Ass. That show's so fucking bad. It's such a waste of money. That's
what's worse? What's worse? Episode 9 or Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, 9 is...
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at least Book of Boba Fett, it's a coherent story from beginning to end.
9's just like... we gotta fit in all these story arcs.
9's like, let's blow through 10 movies worth of stories in like 5 minutes.
I got such like whiplash watching.
I really wish that we had saved watching episode 9 because your fucking reactions to like,
it's just like
it was so funny.
And Poe Dameron, the entire
like a wet blanket.
Well, no, he's just like running around like freaking out the entire time and like having like some of the worst lines, like that Palpatine line. Like he somehow.
Can you imagine like how dumb you must have felt on set? It's like you're the guy that wraps up all of the questions people would have had about Palpatine returning. Somehow. That's the answer.
One word. He did it in one word.
Somehow. But did you watch Bad Batch?
Did not. Was that good?
This is the issue with Disney Star Wars. Things are happening.
Yeah.
And that's certainly something you can say about it. But it's like, do I care about this?
Yeah.
And like, I don't. I don't care about clones. I don't necessarily care about Mandalorians and stuff like that. So I feel like people who really love Mandalorians, they're already being kind of fucked over because the Mandalorians in new canon, they're not like the Mandalorians of old canon. And the Mandalorians that exist now and the Mandalorians that existed then, I already didn't care about. So I like doubly don't care about these Mandalorians or these clone troopers.
Yeah.
So I don't care about like X-Men clone troopers, which is like basically what they are. But it's clear they're building towards like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. So at the end of Bad Batch, they show like Mount Tantus, which is like where Jorah Sabayoth lives in the Thrawn trilogy or whatever. And so it's clear they're building towards like some shit happening, like Jorah Sabayoth, like a Jedi existing who was cloned.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of afraid that instead of Jorah Sabayoth, it's gonna be Snoke.
Oh my gosh. Pickled Snokes
Pickled
again.
Snokes, as far as I can see. So I'm like kind of curious as to like how people will react to, instead of Jorah Sabayoth, who to be clear, original recipe Jorah Sabayoth was also an insufferable dickhead, like in the Outbound Flight book.
Oh,
I'm just like, this guy's clearly the worst person to ever live. Like, just shoot him into the sun. So
So his clone takes after him, like, to a
yeah, like, and I love, not to like backtrack too much to our previous conversation, but in that Thrawn book, I love that Thrawn goes, Pelion, this guy is a clone. And he goes, how do you know? Did you hear that he has 2 U's in his name? I'm like, you're in Star Wars. Everyone's got 2 U's in their fucking name. Are you kidding me? Like, I just love that, like, Thrawn knew that he was a clone. Simply because he had 2 U's.
Based on the spelling of his name.
Because it's not like he was like, my name, and he like turns around, he's got a whiteboard. Jorah Sabayoth, 2 U's, underlines one of the U's. So I kind of think that instead of that being Sabayoth, it'll be Snoke, which when that happens, all Legends fans are going to collectively like shit their pants because it's like, why are you doing this to me?
Yep.
Why are you doing? Because who gives a shit about Snoke? Who cares at this point?
Yeah, like what? Yeah, like what even was he for? Just to be chopped in half?
Put into
Darth Maul style?
Put into a jar of vinegar and brine, some garlic, some jalapenos, make them a little bit spicier.
What in the world?
And I love that Andy Serkis, like when the episode 7 before it came out, he was like, he's like a really old ancient being with like battle scars. Then it's like, no, he wasn't. He was just a clone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so Charles Soule, one of my favorite authors of any Star Wars property at all. Expanded universe or current stuff.
He did Light of the Jedi, right?
Yeah, which Light of the Jedi is like hard for some people to get into, but
yeah,
all of his like comic book stuff, chef's kiss. Give me a slice of that on any roll, you know what I'm saying?
Like the Darth Vader ones.
Darth Vader, High Republic,
which we just started covering.
Yeah, that did pretty good on TikTok. But yeah, I love all this shit.
This is YouTube.
Oh yeah, sorry, YouTube. But I think that he also thought that Snoke was going to be someone more interesting because he's in the Rise of Kylo Ren comics, and he's got like a thick, full head of hair with like a nice ponytail going down. It's so funny seeing like that version. He looks so fucking weird, but
does he have like his face all like
his face is still like pretty jacked. Like he still looks like a roadkill.
Can we pull up?
Pull up a photo of him.
All right.
Look up sexy Snoke.
Really?
No, don't literally Google that. Google like Rise of Kylo Ren or whatever.
Okay.
Rise of Kylo Man.
Rise of Kylo Ren Snoke. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah. Here. No, don't go to videos. Go to images. Jesus Christ, we're so blind.
We're
click on that
blind.
one right. This
one?
Over one more.
All right.
Like, oh, wait, make it big first. Like, click on the link there. I don't know if clicking on that will do anything. So yeah, scroll down some. It's like the 2, yeah. Oh! Zoom in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Zoom in, enhance, like Control Plus or whatever.
I can't do a keyboard.
It's so huge. Jesus Christ. What did you do?
I don't know. Let's go back. Let's go back.
I wonder if they're all gonna be that big. Just click on that other one that's next to that one.
This one?
Yeah. Click on that and see if we can get like a better look of it. This might take you to Reddit, which is my preferred. Yeah, click on that.
Oh, okay.
We'll swap that guy over. Yeah, so that's sexy Snoke. You can see that he's got like a full head of hair.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. But I think that fucking...
What is going on here?
So it's like a deep, intimate hug between him and Ben Solo for some reason.
Oh.
That's a weird vibe. I didn't care for that at all. I did not like that.
So which run is that?
That's the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. So this is like after he's like... So here's the other thing. Is when Luke wakes up in episode 8 and he's like, oh, Ben Solo like killed everyone in my academy or whatever. No, he didn't. Palpatine just blew up your academy with Force lightning.
Yeah.
So you remember that thing that made Kylo Ren interesting? Where he killed everybody?
Right.
That didn't happen. Shut up. Stop thinking. Why are you thinking about it, idiot?
Of course.
You're dumb for having paid attention. That's like the whole theme of that. So Snoke is like talking to him like telepathically about shit. And they're like in the car going to another planet to like investigate like ancient Jedi stuff. Which I think that's where you first see I almost said Elzar Man. The fuck's her goddamn name? Main lady from High Republic.
Avar Kriss. Yes.
Her like holocron shit's up there. But he's like in the car, like in a ship, and he's like on his cell phone with Snoke. It's like they're talking telepathically. He's like, yeah, I know, it's fucking lame that Lucas make me do this stuff. I'd much rather be hanging out with you, this ancient old man that I've been talking to online. It's so funny. Oh, it's in the Despot's in. Hello. Hey guys, watching basketball, but I just wanted to stop by and say hi. Skooma, you're the fucking man. He's always talking. He talks in our Discord, comments on all of our videos.
All right.
He's the shit. I fucking love Skooma.
Good to have you.
Yeah, and Zim, also one of the OGs. He's been here since the beginning. He's great dude.
We thank you.
I said great dude. He could be a serial killer. He could be like eating people and we wouldn't know. But you know what?
Don't do that.
For right now, I'm going to say he's a really good dude. But yeah, he's like talking to Snoke in the car, like talking shit on Luke. He's like, I hate that I'm hanging out with one of the most important people in the galaxy and doing archaeological digs. I'd much rather be on this planet with you hanging out talking.
He's talking like a bratty teen or something.
Yeah, like 100%.
Well, so, was he a bratty teen then?
Yes. He's like 22 in that. So I'm like, dude, grow up. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I wasn't that much of a bitch at 22.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely was a worse person than I am now at 22, but I'm like, shut up.
He kept that temper.
Yeah, he certainly did. That's
sure.
sociopathic temper. But, so you remember that planet like where the Dren gear are? Like where they like go to contain the Dren gear?
What was that in the comic?
Yeah, like the dark side plants.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where they contain them, is where Snoke's at right now.
Cedri Minor?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's called like Book of Genesis or something like that.
Okay.
It's something like really like ancient, mysterious sounding.
So they try to do like crossovers for all their content.
So Charles Soule is trying. He's trying his fucking hardest to make this stuff make sense.
But
he's trying so hard.
But none of it does.
You know how we just covered this in Vader issue 1, how Masamita's like, and today is the death of the Jedi. He's like being really extreme.
Oh yeah.
He looks like a fucking crazy person.
Oh yeah.
He's like, he throws Yoda's lightsaber into that thing.
Yeah.
And then in Book of Boba Fett, they're like, nuh-uh, Luke has it. Charles Soule's like, fuck.
Wait, that for sure was Yoda's lightsaber?
That was Yoda's lightsaber.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and Charles Soule's like, God damn it. I have to explain this away. So he explains it in the War of the Bounty Hunter stuff.
That whole... So basically he's being forced to like retcon.
Pick up the pieces as he's going along.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, I work at a butcher shop, so I might know how to skin someone. Yeah, Zim's definitely got like a lampshade made out of human skin. Like whenever you see him at the airport, he's strolling along. He's got like a nice leather Prada like bag. Human skin.
Nah, we love you, Zim.
I love you, Zim. Skooma Joe says, I wonder how JJ feels about the retcon in the comic. It felt very explicit that Ben Solo killed the other students, although TBH, I doubt JJ is even aware of that comic exists. I highly doubt that he's aware that exists either. I'm positive that JJ Abrams is not aware that anything exists outside of mystery boxes. He lives in a constant state of confusion and mystery. He's good at starting something.
Yeah, just
but he's really bad at finishing.
Really bad at finishing.
Yeah. So, like that comic book was written after Episode 7 came out, like after Episode 8 came out, because like it's like all the same. It looks exactly like Luke's Jedi Academy or whatever.
Yeah.
So Charles Soule was like, okay, I'm gonna like add some meat to this. I'm gonna like add some flesh to it, make it a little bit more interesting. And Episode 9. Not Episode 9, but in that comic book, they're like, well, no, it was technically Snoke that did it. And then Episode 8 goes, no, it was Palpatine that did it. And Snoke exists because Palpatine exists.
Yeah.
And by the way, Exegol was a thing, and Darth Vader knew about it, but he didn't think to mention it to Luke when he was dying.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. It's just a constant series of
it just seems like Star Wars these days is just a bunch of like
contradictions,
people tripping over each other, like trying to connect all these pieces together.
It's like, you know, like in cartoons, like Daffy Duck or something. He's like in a boat and it's sinking. He covers one boat with his foot, and then another hole pops up and he covers that one up. That's Charles Soule, like trying to make sense of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
but of course he works for like Lucasfilm, so of course he has to be like, I know, I love it all. But I'm like, you're pissed, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like if I had worked on something for like a year to like write out, have an artist draw it out, and then a colorist to go and color it.
Yeah.
And then they go, never mind, no, don't worry about it. Snoke isn't like the Saint Germain. He's just a clone. It's like, all right, man. Well, fuck you. Why did I work on this?
I know. It's like, why should they even be like allowed to do? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Skooma Joe asks, so Palpatine wiped out the Jedi Order twice. LOL. He's really good at it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's his specialty.
His batting average, 1,000.
I guess so.
He has killed it every time. Every time he's taken a whack at it.
Gotta hand it to the guy.
Crushed it.
Gotta hand it to him.
I mean, if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's to create emotionally abused apprentices.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Maul, Kylo Ren, and then to kill the Jedi multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still curious as to whether or not, was that a clone of Palpatine? Or was that supposed to be like him?
Episode 9?
Yeah.
No, that was... I don't remember. That was him, wasn't it? Gosh, I
love that we just like don't remember.
Do they explain that in the movie?
How could
they don't, do they?
How could they had to run through 6 movies before the movie ended. How could they have had time?
They had to sprint through it.
Yeah, they had to sprint through it.
But we got horses riding
horses again.
Horses on the very last battle.
But it was worth it just to watch it all burn. I feel bad for that actress that she had to play that character, Rose Tiga.
Gosh.
Man, she just got fucking shit on. Not her fault that she was written that way.
I mean, yeah.
Lord of Edge 95. That's a good year. Says, "Hey guys!" ! Hello, Lord of Edge. So far, we've come to the conclusion that we have multiple cannibals in our chat, and we have some human skin that's been made into lampshades and/or luggage. The novelization confirmed that it was a clone. Get the fuck out of here! Are you serious?
Sorry. Read it again. What?
The novelization confirmed it was a clone.
It was a clone. Okay.
Then who cares? Who cares?
Somehow, a clone of Palpatine.
So that was like a thing that like.
So he's not back. So he's not back.
He is literally not back.
Never mind.
Never mind. You thought you knew, but you didn't know. But this is my favorite fucking thing about people who like dunked on. I know somebody like this in my personal life who was like, "Oh, Legends was just like a fucking mess. None of it made sense." Tell me that this makes more sense.
Yeah.
Prove to me that this makes more sense.
Yeah.
We're like in like the Brian's kind of like a little intoxicated section of the video.
This has obviously turned into us just completely
Shitting
shitting
on
all
them.
over
But like
new canon.
so there are like new canon fans.
It's one of our favorite things to do, to be
I mean, at
honest.
this point, it's most of our personal conversations. But I love that new canon fans were like, Legends was like just a mess. There's so many like dumb plot lines and stuff like that. New canon's not like that. We're fucking cool. We got a coherent plot line. J.J. Abrams, he redid Star Trek. He made it cool again. And then
J.J. Abrams, oh my god.
J.J.
Abrams apologists out there.
Yeah, there's like a weird amount of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Trek. I don't know shit about Star Trek in that first movie.
Yeah, I actually did. I saw like the first one, but
I mean, the second one was like definitely like I think they were banking on everyone knowing who Khan was. He's like, I am Khan. I'm like,
crickets.
I'm like, am I supposed to know what that is?
The Wrath of Khan.
But there's two things that he's really a fan of. It's magic blood and mystery boxes. Every movie has a magic blood plot. I believe one of the editors said that the movie originally explained the clone situation, but they decided it wasn't important and cut it.
Sounds about right. Good golly gosh.
We decided that how this guy who blew up in a giant death contraption, people were kind of confused as to how he came back. I don't see that's important. I don't see that's important. When I say clone, I mean it's basically the same situation as Dark Empire, while Palpatine yeeted his spirit into a clone body, so it's still the same person but a new body. I don't know if that counts, because it's like, if you were to be cloned, you personally, Zach, if you got cloned, if you got blown up in a fascistic, like nuclear warhead that you lived in,
pretty much,
and you like brought in some people to like try and convert over your way of thinking, and you blew up and died, and then someone cloned you, that's not a continuation of like your brain. That's a clone that's downloaded your memories, and then they've been.
Are all the clones the same person? I mean, sort of, but
I love that in Dark Empire.
The Bad Batch, they made them all different in the Bad Batch.
Yeah, they're like all hip and cool. They all got lots of pockets, and they're all X-Men.
It's the same guy who voices all of them. I think he just like puts a spin.
That guy's got
on
guaranteed work for the rest of his life. The guy's set for fucking life.
Yeah.
But in Dark Empire, like Palpatine is literally like, Luke's like, all right, that one's dead. He's like, psych him over here in this one. He's like, I love that shit. Like Dark Empire is so fucking weird. It looks insane. Like the comic book itself is just like purple, green, and yellow. There's no other color spectrums in the Star Wars universe.
Gosh, I need to go through that one.
Yeah, because you never read it, have you?
I've not.
It's weird. It's definitely weird. It's like that. It's like a time period where like the EU hasn't quite figured itself out.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it quite a bit. I remember having a bit of an argument with a high school libertarian not long after episode 7.
Oh boy.
And I said it was an awful movie. I was told I didn't like it because Rey was a girl. If I remember. A librarian. I read libertarian.
Yeah.
I was like, that would be a weird thing for a libertarian to say.
Yeah.
I feel. I mean, I can understand why people's like first assumption would be to think that you didn't like it because she was a girl. Because I kind of got that shit too. Where I was like, well, I spent the whole movie thinking that Finn was the main character. You know?
7?
Yeah. Like I spent, because like the movie starts with him. He's like the main thing. Kylo Ren's like walking away after he's like killed all those people. He looks back, has like a charged moment with Finn. Like clearly that he's like sensing something from him.
Yeah.
And then
man, Finn, so much potential lost.
He could have been a real Cornhorn.
He even
Cornhorn's like 45. He could have been a real like Kyle Katarn.
He picked up a lightsaber in like half those movies, didn't he?
He was mostly just yelling Rey and screaming and being. He's always wet. He's always sweaty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's always running. He looks like he's like in Georgia in August or something.
They did him dirty.
Yeah.
Could have been so great.
The Palpatine clones are basically brain dead, lying dormant in clone vats. Whenever Palpatine needs to, he yeets his. I love that the verb is yeets. He yeets his spirit into a new body. The Sith technique is called essence transfer. Oh, I mean, I know about essence transfer or whatever, but it's just that was like the most like shit on storyline.
Yeah.
In Legends by like even people who liked Legends. I feel like a lot of them like were kind of, it was like pretty split on whether or not they liked Dark Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it ironic. This is what I was trying to allude to earlier. All these new canon fans are like, yeah, fucking Legend sucked. It was just like a mess and it didn't make any sense. Disney's not going to do it like that with the new trilogy. And then episode 9 is just Dark Empire, but worse somehow.
Yeah.
And so watching all of them like struggle to like defend it, it was so funny to me. I was constantly on that subreddit and people were like, well, no, it's different because like Disney did it. So that makes it different.
Yeah.
I'm like, in the technical sense, it is different.
I feel like part of our problem here is that Disney's just so huge and they cater to such a wide base. I mean, they're Disney, you know? So like part of the problem now is that like Star Wars isn't its own thing. So they have to like cater to like to the public. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll say this like about like other Disney properties like Marvel. I'm done with Marvel. I'm done with it. It should have ended with Endgame. That was like the peak of those movies for me.
But the money.
You haven't thought about Ant-Man 2 yet, you idiot. I mean, Ant-Man 3. Didn't you want to see?
Is there 3 of those?
There's going to be a third one.
Oh, wow.
And who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't care. I no longer care. Jay Marley. Leia pushing an old man Palps off of his bed before running away is my favorite part of Dark Empire. That is pretty fucking good. I'd say that Crystal Star are more widely shit on than Dark Empire, at least within the EU community. Yeah, you probably never read Crystal Star. That was a pretty divisive one.
That seems familiar.
I mean, everyone's heard about it, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who's, like, in, like, that sphere has definitely heard about it. But, like, the online discourse, because I've always been part of, like, online Star Wars stuff for, like a really long time. Like, I'm talking, like, going back to, like, old school forums or whatever.
You're way better at that than me, for sure.
Well, it's because, like, I'm a huge... Like, you're a nerd, but, like, I'm, like...
An obsessive nerd.
I got, like, Asperger's nerdom about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not
good.
to, like, shame anybody about, like, any mental whatever. But, like, that's, like, I hyper-fixate on it. So, I remember the online discourse, like, in 2012 being, we fucking hate Legacy of the Force, and Dark Empire kind of blew. And a lot of people, like, were not down for the Yuuzhan Vong.
Yeah.
That's changed. Like, it's a bit grimdark, like, a bit, like...
Yeah.
Every being on this planet that had 70 billion people, they're all dead. Like, pretty extreme stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
well, that's
again,
how Chewie died, right?
Yeah, they threw a moon at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
That's
that made, like, headlines, like, at the time. That was, like, a big deal.
Like CNN did stories on it or something.
CNN was like...
In other news...
War in the Middle East, and Chewbacca died. Bill O'Reilly's over on Fox News. I'm sick of this goddamn war on Christmas. Anyways, Chewbacca died last week in Star Wars.
Probably.
I think that Glenn Beck was still on at that point.
Oh, man.
Glenn Beck's like on the whiteboard. He's like Adolf Hitler in 1945. I shouldn't mention Hitler's name on this, but
him.
Yeah. But
holy shit.
I just love the thought that like even people who were like just tangentially aware of like the Star Wars universe were like, wait, Chewbacca's dead? I mean, dog that Han Solo hung out with, that guy's dead? I mean,
everybody knows like Star Wars characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if they've never seen the movies.
It would be, if you have not like picked up something through proxy, through Star Wars, that's fucking like 2 of our friends, Kayla, she's like, I literally know nothing about Lord of the Rings. I'm like, how have you been a human this long on this planet without knowing anything about Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I mean, some of these things are just like, I mean, you just pick them up through like osmosis if you like live in the world, you know?
Yeah.
Star Wars is one of them.
Just existing as a person.
Yeah.
In society.
Yeah.
I'm like, were you living on like the Appalachian Mountains somewhere?
And then you got nerds like us who like fixate on it.
Yeah. Peter Mayhew wrote the foreword for the Chewbacca comic. Oh man, rest in peace, Peter Mayhew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say that, but he could have. I think that he like lived a nice, great life. You know what I mean? Like if I lived to be 85 and I had like a great life where I was like never homeless or whatever. When you're dead, you're dead. You know, that's. There's a line from It's Always Sunny. When you're dead, you're dead. Eat me, bang me, throw me in a river. When you're dead, you're dead. But it's obviously said by Danny DeVito. The best way I can describe those books is Someone fed a monkey Star Wars lore, put him in front of a typewriter, and he basically diarrheaed out a novel.
Wait, which ones are we talking about?
I think he's talking about Crystal Star.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a few books in like Expanded Universe where they're written like somebody has.
What's the other one people shit on? The Leia one, the Courtship of Princess Leia.
Courtship of Princess Leia. Those are all. I think there's some Star Wars books that are written like somebody had seen it through a department store window, and they've like, man, I'm kind of aware what that is.
Yeah. And
then they're like, hey, you're a guy who wrote like a bunch of adaptations of 90s movies that were New York Times bestsellers. Do you want to write a Star Wars book? And Kevin J. Anderson was like, sure, I'll write a Star Wars book.
I remember liking that Jedi Academy trilogy.
That is shocking.
You know, it's been since I was a kid. So maybe I'm just having like nostalgia moments of like, oh, getting into Star Wars books. Cool.
There are definitely parts of those books that I'm
not being an apologist for those novels. I would have to.
They have their fans. Like Kevin J. Anderson has his apologists for sure.
I would have to go back and truly dive back into them. But
I mean, I do find it bizarre that
that's the Kip Duran stuff, right?
He like blows up a planet and then he goes out. He's the way I picture he goes out like on TV, like on a police broadcast. Everyone's like snapping their pictures on their Canon cameras. Kip Duran comes out to the podium. He's like, "Sorry, everyone. I was possessed by a ghost. So, my bad." And a journalist raised her hand. And they're like, "He's like, yeah, you." He goes, "That's fair." And that's the end of it. That's like the end of him getting in any trouble for piloting a weapon called the Galaxy Gun.
You ever notice how it's not Star Wars unless planets are blowing up?
hey, to be fair, they go like a stretch there where a couple planets aren't being destroyed.
Like half a novel.
The Yuuzhan Vong are usually just like terraforming planets and like terrifying the population.
Yeah.
There's a comic book called Star Wars Invasion, where if somebody in the chat has like read this, I need you to like sort of back me, like refresh my memory here. I think there's a Force sensitive Yuuzhan Vong, like half child in that.
What I'm trying to remember. Wasn't their whole thing like
they're like completely cut off from the
Force? Yeah.
Like they like committed so much death and destruction in their own galaxy. The Force was like, nah.
Isn't that an interesting concept though? Like,
yeah, like a lot of people weren't down for it. I like that concept. I like that there's like, if you can accept like mammal lizards who like block the Force in a bubble,
yeah,
you can accept the Yuuzhan Vong.
Well, certain Jedi like cut themselves off from the Force. I mean,
so Kip flew the Sun Crusher. Sorry, Brian's had a glass of whiskey.
What did you say? What did you say?
We both said Galaxy Gun, but it's the Sun Crusher that Kip.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. But I like the Yuuzhan Vong quite a bit. Like I've actually come around a lot to those books.
Yeah.
I reread through the first 3 during quarantine.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was like maybe like when we both had it. Like Kylie and I both had it.
Okay.
And I reread through like those first 3, and it is like legitimately shocking when Chewbacca dies.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, like, you know, it's like he's one of them. He'll make it out. And
Han has a rough time.
Ooh,
doesn't
he is so terrible to Anakin for like a while. There's like really no resolution to it. Like Anakin like lives his whole life just getting dunked on by Han because his best friend dies. It's like pretty terrible.
Yeah.
What are those curved lines being drawn in a race in the top left book cover? Is that supposed to be the reflecting of Barb's basement logo? What are you talking about? Top left corner.
Oh, he's talking about your other screen over here. It's reflecting somewhere.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's my Mac Pro. That's its screen. Although I do want to get a neon sign right here that says Barb's basement.
Yeah.
They're really expensive to get though.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like to make a custom one, they're pretty expensive.
Coming soon to this basement.
And then the Vongarella, some RPG module that Kyle Katarn fought. I've read Invasion. The kid had been experimented on by his stepmom, who's a Vong outcast. Yeah. So that's the other thing is like they show like. So I don't know if you remember this part about the new Jedi Order books, but like the Vong are like they can like put on like skin suits that make them look human. And that's like how like they like kind of infiltrate a lot of governments or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they show there's a Vong that's been like in a skin suit who's like been banging like the king of this planet, and so they have kids. This is like all based off of like my like sort of drunk brain's memory, and one of them goes to train at Luke's Jedi Order on Yavin. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what?
I do not remember that.
Well, I don't think you've ever read Invasion before.
Okay.
It's like there's also like an Utapawan. I think that's how you say like their like race or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like he's a Jedi master and yada yada. He's all this great stuff.
Is
The
that
next
what
panel
they-
is him getting speared through the spine.
Is that
by
what the
Yuuzhan
Grand
Vong.
Inquisitor is? Utapau?
Yeah, except for apparently not in the Obi-Wan show because he looks just like a regular guy who's got like a skin condition.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
It looks off.
Yeah.
I'm
it
excited about
does.
that show, but it still looks weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone has an explanation, Zim, I'm seeing your explanation of it, but I just reread through that pretty recently because I wanted to make a video on it. But like, I don't remember seeing an explanation for why that kid's force sensitive. But I find that to be like
Maybe it was just a Disney situation. Don't think about it.
it was sort of towards like the end of their run, like towards I think it was like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
2012. But again, like the John Ostrander stuff that I really enjoy is that he really incorporated a lot of that, like all of the EU, like Yuuzhan Vong stuff. Like I feel like a lot of those books and comics that came after like the New Jedi Order, like they knew that like the Vong were kind of people like viewed them different. Like not everyone loved them.
Yeah.
So like they kind of ignored them altogether. But
Because of the audience reaction.
because of the audience reaction to them. But the legacy comics like really heavily involve the Vong, which I love. I love that they like bring them up and they're like a big catalyst for like the war.
I think they were an interesting concept.
Yeah, I think I maybe don't just like the scope of like that they were like destroying entire planet population. Like it's like the most bloody war in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like there's like been no more destructive war than the Yuuzhan Vong.
Well, that's the thing about Star Wars is that they can just create whole planets that you've never heard of before and just kill them off for
Fridge the whole
for
population.
dramatic purposes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's a whole galaxy full of planets and seemingly they're all inhabited.
We got a couple to blow up.
Yeah.
We're good.
They all have breathable atmospheres for humans inexplicably, but
I remember him having some sort of Vong life form in him. I think chest burster, but not lethal. If I'm remembering correctly, this kid was like looking at a stone. He's like trying his hardest to like lift it, and Luke comes in like after he's like lifted it up. He's like, "Yeah, I did it. Look, Master Luke." And Luke's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna lift like a whole like tree and giant boulder just to like shit on him." But you can see like in the background of those panels. You remember like the Jedi Academy games?
games.
Yeah, like the ones that have Kyle Katarn.
Oh, yeah.
And then like you play, I can't remember, Jaden Core or something like that.
yeah.
And they're like the training section that you go through like on Yavin.
Yeah.
That's in that comic, which I thought was just like a cool little callback.
Okay.
I think the Vong creature sensed Vong for him. I gotta reread through those comics. I'm not remembering any of that shit.
Yeah, we need to brush up on this.
I want to make a video on it, like to like kind of touch on like just how destructive it was. Like I
Right.
said, like I want to cover weird, obscure things that like other people aren't covering.
Yeah.
That's like I feel like Legacy got no love by like most people, outside of like Darth Crate's pretty cool, huh? That's it. So like I want to like do deep dives on Legacy.
Cade Skywalker apparently is
our
the
most
shit.
viewed video on
Yeah.
TikTok, 105,000 views for some reason.
yeah.
I don't think like that video was that well. I feel like that was like one of my worst videos I made. Like, I wasn't that impressed by my own videos. You know what I mean?
You do a good job.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate
Good
that.
job.
Those videos take me like 3 hours to make.
Little
Since I'm a video
li-
editor, like they're
little behind the scenes.
they yeah, a little behind the scenes of Barb. She brought down the computers, cracked out that whip. And she had the Indiana Jones set replica whip. Read those Star Wars comics.
We
But,
can't be let out of the basement until we read all Star Wars content.
And we have to wait for Amazon to deliver all of them.
That's the rules. That's the rules.
Oh, I think that I had mentioned this in one of the Discords. My wife, not Barb, she bought me every single issue of Star Wars Legacy for my birthday. It's the best fucking present everyone's ever got me. And I feel like bad for the dude who sold it to me because I'm like, this guy must have really loved these comics because they're in pristine condition. So I'm like thinking, I'm like building a story for this guy in my head. Like he must have had heart disease or something. He had like paid for surgery or some shit. But like they're
Like, why would you let go of them?
so fucking good. But holy shit, it's already 8:30. We should probably be wrapping up here.
Well,
I feel like that was like a good first run of In the Basement, huh?
Thanks all who commented in the chat.
I know, like that screen, so we got to put it up on the big TV because I can't see shit.
Yeah.
We're both like farsighted or whatever. Kate Skywalker, what would happen if the lead singer of Nickelback was a Jedi?
That is good. That is spot on.
Look at this photograph. It's of my dead dad, Cole. I'm gonna be a pirate now, Dad.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck you, Luke. I don't want to listen to you. But yeah, I think this was like a good like first run of In the Basement.
In the Basement.
Hopefully I didn't like get too drunk.
You were good.
But I am like shiny as hell because it's
You
like
are
pretty
good.
warm down here, which is like different for us.
Do you need this for wrapping up purposes?
I don't know. I'll just hit like the things. But yeah, thank you for everyone who like tuned in. Like I really appreciate you guys a lot. I think that it's like kind of basic knowledge that if we got to talk about Star Wars professionally, like as a job, we would want to do that. And we're putting in like a shitload of work to like get these videos made and to like make content that I would want to see.
It's been a lot of fun.
I don't want it to be like a lot of clickbait stuff. I don't want it to be like I want it to be like kind of deep lore conversations. So we try super hard to like make the stuff look good, to like cover things that like other people who like maybe are trying to get into Legends that they would like or whatever. So really, really appreciate you guys supporting us. We just want it to grow and grow and grow. I mean, if this could be like our 9-to-5 job, I would be over.
I mean, we're trapped here, so
we gotta get paid somehow.
We gotta do something.
If Barb lets me out of this basement, I'm gonna have a huge gap on my resume. I'm talking like 3 years. So I need to get something going here. So I appreciate you guys liking, commenting, sharing the videos and stuff like that. Love you, appreciate you.
Please come visit us in the basement again. We need human interaction.
All the human interaction we can get. But we'll be here again next Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're here every day, but we'll be here.
We're always in these chairs.
We got like our cots over there. They're just off screen. You guys can't see them.
Yep.
We only have the one.
I just have a nest of blankets in the corner.
Yeah. We have the dookie bucket over there too. We both have to try not to make eye contact while we use it. But yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the first episode, and I will make this available on Spotify or fucking iTunes or whatever. And we'll keep live streaming here on YouTube. Maybe we'll try it out on TikTok. I don't know how that works. I'm not a Gen Zer, so yeah, until next time, we'll still be here in the basement. You're gonna see me go off screen here and do this.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.